this plane crash that happened in Baramati. Remember, he was traveling from Mumbai, about to land in Baramati for 4 public meetings, is when the plane resulted, or in fact had to take an emergency landing, and in an attempt to land on an emergency basis is when this crash happened. As you can see from the visuals that we have put out, the mangled remains of the plane, the wreckage, that is amply clear than how badly the plane had crashed, and the impact was so much that we cannot ascertain how many people really, in fact, left that scene of the crash unscathed. And this is the unfortunate piece of news that we are putting out. There were 6 people. It was a 6-seater that we are learning of, the chartered plane. Ajit Pawar was very much on board that aircraft is when this crash happened. 6 people have died in that plane crash, and it is also being said that Ajit Pawar's body is currently at the Baramati Medical College, where his mortal remains have been kept. And it's also being claimed that all the 6 people on board that aircraft that crashed have in fact died. My colleague Mayuresh Ganpate with us on the broadcast. Mayuresh, unfortunate piece of news. The Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Pawar, is no more, along with 5 others who were also on board that aircraft.
So we are yet to get the official confirmation from the medical team who was treating Ajit Pawar, who is still treating Ajit Pawar. But the information which we are getting from the multiple sources that approximately 5 to 6 passengers were there. And after this massive landing crash which had happened in Baramati airstrip, the locals, the report which we are getting that there is no chance of any survival from this particular crash. So it's a very unfortunate incident which had happened, because we have been given to understand that yesterday, after attending the cabinet meeting, Ajit Pawar was today flying to Baramati to attend the rallies and address the rallies, because on 5th and 6th, these are the crucial dates for all political parties in Maharashtra. There are ZP elections which are happening, which are going to happen on 5th and 6th. There will be a result. So for that, Ajit Pawar was traveling to Baramati. There were 4 to 5 rallies of Ajit Pawar which were organized in Baramati district, and that's why he was traveling there. We have been also given to understand approximately at 8:10 or between 8:10 to 8:20, the flight took off for Baramati, and the crash happened between 9 to 9:15. But how this crash had happened, what exactly went wrong? So all this will come in the investigation, but the DGCA will launch it. But it's a very unfortunate news which we are getting from our sources within the ATC that this 5 to 6 people who were on board, no one has survived.
Right. So 9:12 a.m. is when the ATC was informed about this crash. We're learning that this was a Learjet 45XR aircraft on which Ajit Pawar was on board, and the DGCA too has now confirmed this news that all the people who were on board that ill-fated aircraft have in fact died after the crash that has taken place. Our other colleagues, Pallavi, Payal, Arunima, also continue to be with us. Pallavi, very unfortunate piece of news that we have had to track this morning. Ajit Pawar passing away.
Absolutely, we're right inside the parliament where, in fact, the all-party meeting was about to begin, and Supriya Sule was expected to come for the meeting, but of course now she's rushing to Baramati. Ajit Pawar, who very broke away from the Pawar family, he still continued to maintain very, very good equations. And I remember when we used to travel to Baramati for the elections, Supriya Sule had always made it a point to have that connect with the Ajit Pawar family. I mean, despite the fact that they may have been a political parting of ways, but the personal remaining together it was very much there. Therefore, it comes as no surprise that Supriya Sule is dashing off from the national capital. And as Payal was pointing out, the parliament session begins today. And in fact, all of those, whether they are from the Ajit Pawar faction, that's the NCP, whether it is from the Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, in fact, all the leaders are very much here in the national capital, as was Supriya Sule from the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, to take part in the budget session of parliament. But of course, the personal tragedy which has hit them has made them overlook any kind of political differences that may have had. And therefore, Supriya Sule, Praful Patel, all of them completely rushing to the spot. And with that, I would say it's a turnaround moment as far as the politics and the life and times of Maharashtra politics is concerned. But it's a moment for that later. Officially now, Lokmat has confirmed to CNN News 18, as we all have been pointing out, statement can come out from the DGCA anytime soon, as Anvit, my colleague who covers aviation, is also pointing out. Yes, it's absolutely a horrible news, but also news which is, in a sense, shows one, the fragility of life, and second, also brings bridges all the political differences one may have had, because at the end of the day, politicians do maintain their personal contact, and that is what we are going to see today between the Sharad Pawar family and that of Ajit Pawar as well.
Right, absolutely. And that being that unfortunate leveler is what Pallavi is speaking about. We are getting information as we continue to track all the details. Ajit Pawar, unfortunate piece of news. He is no more. He's died in that plane crash. Rahul Shivshankar is also joining us on the broadcast. Rahul.
Yes, indeed. Sad news coming through. DTCA sources also now confirming to News 18 that 5 people have passed away in this very, very tragic crash that has taken place under circumstances that can only be described as unfortunate. What we do know, of course, is that the family of Mr. Ajit Pawar, including, of course, the extended family, Supriya Sule and Sharad Pawar, are rushing right now to Baramati. This is news that will, of course, shake the political firmament, as Pallavi is saying. And I just want to drag Pallavi back into this conversation. These pictures that we're seeing on our screens show you that the chances of anyone having got away unscathed were very, very narrow to begin with. News coming in now, of course, Pallavi. What is expected to transpire as far as the next 24 hours are concerned? Of course, there's going to be an inquiry, a detailed inquiry that will be instituted by the DGCA. But what is the procedure that is followed at times such as this, especially when Parliament is convened?
Well, I mean, the Parliament will reconvene at 11 a.m. and as per the roster, it's the presidential speech which is going to take place, which takes place in the beginning of every budget session. I think even the government and the Parliament is going to be waiting for that official words to be coming in. I think they're also going to wait. These are sensitive times. The family is very much over here in the national capital, and they are rushing over there into Baramati even as we speak. They'll, of course, give that first moment, the private moment and the personal moment to the family. That word will be conveyed to them. And then, of course, the procedure is very simple. It gets conveyed, obviously, to a speaker. Ajit Pawar, of course, is not a member of parliament, but he's a politician. He's also a deputy CM of Maharashtra, so he holds that constitutional position. And as I was talking about, I mean, we all have done multiple stories and ground reports on the break within the Pawar family because Ajit Pawar chose to break away from Sharad Pawar. There were several name calling which was given, but Ajit Pawar has proved himself as someone who could be a worthy carrying of the NCP tradition as well. But despite that, as recently, I remember there was a wedding which took place in the national capital. Ajit Pawar was sitting and seen along with Supriya Sule. They do share the very close bond. That bitterness has not come across in the family. She used to call him Kaka. I remember whenever we used to meet her in Baramati during the elections, not a bitter word. Obviously, in politics, when you're political opponents, you attack each other. But that personal bitterness was never ever there to see. I think they maintained that maryada, they maintained that decorum, that grief you're going to see writ large on the faces of Sharad Pawar's extended family, that of Supriya Sule, and just about everyone. I mean, everyone acknowledged the fact that Ajit Pawar had come out of the shadows of Sharad Pawar. But to quickly go back to the procedure, the Speaker of the House is, of course, informed as the Vice President, as the Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. The government then takes on the moment from there. We are going to wait for the first official word, which is going to come in from the Maharashtra government, from the central government. But of course, it's confirmed by Lokpo and by the DGCA statement. We're waiting for the official statement, of course, to come across.
Yes, News 18 Marathi, as well as, of course, the DGCA unofficially telling us that Mr. Ajit Pawar is no more. This is a very, very sad day, of course, for the political class, as well as, of course, a large number of residents of Baramati. Ajit Pawar, of course, served this constituency and the surrounding areas for years altogether. The Pawars are a very influential family in the Maharashtra firmament, also, of course, nationally. So this is huge news. And of course, it jogs our memory back to all those other instances when major political leaders have met with unfortunate deaths in crashes, sometimes chopper crashes. In this particular case, it was an Embraer jet that has crashed into this desolation, as you can see, resulting in a complete evisceration of the plane and the fuselage. So from the very beginning, it was looking very unlikely that anyone would have survived this catastrophe. This is, of course, the second major air accident to have taken place in the last 6 months. Of course, the passenger plane from Ahmedabad that took off for London, that crashed and that shook a lot of people. And this, of course, is going to bring back those memories. Of course, no one quite knows what led to this particular crash. Was it weather? Was it instrumental failure? Was it error? We have absolutely no confirmation of that. That's also going to be sort of revealed over time. But what you can see here are visuals from about an hour and a half back, viewers. These visuals are being relayed and they tell you a story of utter devastation. In the top left-hand corner of your screens, and Pallavi is still there with us, we're also going to try and bring Aman into this conversation and others to get really a sense of the reactions that are coming across the political firmament to this accident. But on the left top-hand corner of your screens, you can see a body that is obviously been thrown out of that particular aircraft from the fuselage. It's been covered in a blue sheet, and there are a huge number of policemen milling around that site. Of course, first responders there trying to douse the flames. There are a large number of villagers also that have collected around this particular area. To the right of your screens, of course, the aftermath, where you can see a number of rescue vehicles coming through. And there to the left, top on the left are these pictures coming straight from the hospital. Viewers, that's the hospital, the local hospital, where, of course, the remains of Ajit Pawar would have been taken. And, of course, those others, unfortunates who have been on that flight, 5 others were on that plane with him. So a total of 6 people were being told. At least these are the estimates that are coming through as of now. Of course, all of this is fluid information. But what we can confirm is that Mr. Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, a pillar of that government, has passed away in this horrific catastrophe that has shattered the obviously the emotional cord of a large number of people. There to the left of your screens was the last image really of Mr. Ajit Pawar. He was on a constituency visit this morning in Baramati, and he was taking off presumably to return to Delhi to attend Parliament, or perhaps even just to hold consultation, or even go back to Mumbai. We don't quite know where he was headed, but there is speculation about that. He was definitely in Baramati, and we do know that being the Deputy Chief Minister, he has, of course, a role which is larger and beyond the state. But nonetheless, we don't quite know where he was headed. Was he coming out to Delhi? Was he actually traveling back to Mumbai? No one quite knows as of now. But those are the pictures from last year. That was the big Mahayuti that came together after the 2024 elections. Of course, it was a pre-poll alliance. Everyone in the political circles was absolutely shocked and surprised when Ajit Pawar had decided to break from his uncle Sharad Pawar and form his own outfit and join, of course, the BJP and the NDA. And there you can see to the left of your screens pictures coming out from inside the ambulance that is now carrying the remains of the people who were on board that aircraft. We can't quite confirm whether this is, of course, the body of Mr. Ajit Pawar, given the fact that this body has been shrouded by a cloth. But what we can tell you is, of course, that the rescue services have confirmed that there are no survivors. 5 people aside of Mr. Ajit Pawar have passed away. These are the fresh details that are coming through. I just want to go straight across to Arunima. Arunima, what can you tell us? If you're there with us, give us a perspective of what you're hearing from your sources. I'm sure that over the next few hours, there's going to be an inquiry and a board that is going to be set up. The DGCA will, of course, be once again under the lens in unfortunate circumstances.
Yes, so the information coming in from authorities is that, at around 8:45, 8:50, the 6-seater aircraft, which is a chartered plane, took off for Baramati. And the Baramati landing strip, it's an irony that, as recently as 15th of October, 2025, Ajit Pawar had actually, in a meeting, taken it up with authorities for extension of the Baramati landing strip, for allowing its expansion, for allowing night landing facility. And he had asked for the detailed project report to be handed over. As far as weather conditions are concerned, even though authorities here in Delhi say that a detailed report is awaited, they say it was a bright, sunny day in Baramati. Usually, smaller aircraft struggle if weather conditions are adverse, but that does not seem to be a factor here. So authorities are still awaiting a detailed report from the ground as to actually what went wrong. But Ajit Pawar was traveling because there were Zilla Parishad elections in Baramati. He wanted to be there. This is the home turf of the Pawar family, and he wanted to be there when the Zilla Parishad elections were happening, galvanizing his cadre. That was the reason he was traveling. One is still waiting for the authorities to confirm exactly what happened, leading to this unfortunate crash and subsequent fire. And what sources here in Delhi tell us is that it was the fire which left no chances for any survival. The entire plane, everyone on board was just engulfed in the fire, which started after the crash happened.
Yes, those pictures, of course, are absolutely devastating coming in from Baramati this morning, viewers. It is a scene that no one expected to wake up to. Least of all, of course, the Pawar family, which is obviously bereaved right now. We're being told that they're rushing to Baramati to obviously take a complete and obvious grip on the situation. But those pictures there on the left of your screens, viewers, are of several constituents, supporters of Ajit Pawar that are now at this hospital. This is a major development. I just want to go back to Pallavi for just a few moments. We see in the middle of our screens, of course, Mr. Ajit Pawar in other times, and on the right, of course, the wreckage from the crash. And those are the pictures that tell you just how devastating the impact might have been. Arunima, this is looking extremely bad. This crash obviously taking place at a time which was most unexpected. That, of course, is an obvious statement. But from the wreckage, it shows that the plane was coming hurtling down to the ground. We would, of course, connect to a few experts, but Arunima, just talk us through these pictures. These pictures tell us a story.
Yes, so it looks like, I mean, it was a smaller aircraft, like I was telling you. Was the weather a factor? Prima facie, if you look at the weather in Baramati today, what authorities are saying that it was a bright, sunny day. So did weather in any way play any role? Prima facie, the authorities are still struggling to understand what went wrong. A detailed technical report will be sought. The wreckage from the ground will be analyzed. And once again, it takes you back to the nightmare of what we saw. Of course, it was a bigger aircraft. There were far more civilian casualties. But what happened in Ahmedabad, again, the authorities are saying that, in this case also, we will have to look at the wreckage to figure out, because it looked like that the pilot had lost control. And the way the chartered aircraft crashed, it immediately, was on fire, giving very little chance for anyone to come out of the wreckage and survive. And these pictures that we are putting out for our viewers, I think, are testimony to what sources here in Delhi, in DGCA, in civil aviation are telling us. A detailed investigation will, of course, be done. But prima facie, that is the detail with which the authorities here are coming out with. Essentially, what they are saying after their primary investigation and speaking to primary sources on the ground is that this was a Learjet aircraft. Is called Learjet 45, and it had taken off with 5 people, including crew members. Personal security officials of Ajit Pawar were also on board, and it took off at about 8:45. And within minutes, it had crashed in Baramati. There's no official word as yet as to what went wrong. Was it a technical failure? What was the reason that the pilot lost control? But the visuals that we have tells you that the fire really left no chance for anyone, even if they were injured. The fire really left them with no chance of escaping the wreckage.
Arunima, just stay on with me. I want to go straight across to Anvit also to get a sense from him about the DGCA's perspective on this. And we're going to ask the Director Saab to actually keep all the visuals of the crash at the bottom of the screens, and also make the windows of the guests more aligned to the right of the screen or the left of the screen and smaller, so that maximum primacy can be given to the visuals as we are seeing them. But Anvit, what are you hearing from the DGCA even as we speak over these visuals devastating? We're now being told that this was actually a Learjet and not an Embraer. Can you confirm?
Yes, Rahul, it is confirmed. We spoke to DGCA top officials and they've confirmed that this was a Learjet aircraft, and this is a 6 to 8 seater aircraft, and we've been told that it took off around 8:10, and 9:12 is when the ATC informed got the confirmation that the jet has crashed. Now, we have also received an official confirmation from the DGCA that have said that there were 5 people on board. It says that aircraft landed at Baramati, and during the landing, it was that the aircraft crashed. It crash landed, and Ajit Pawar, along with 2 of his more personnel and PSOs and 1 attendant and 2 crew were on board. It also goes on to say that as per initial information, no person on board has survived the crash. That confirms that Ajit Pawar was on board, and that it also confirms that none of them have survived the crash. We are learning that the teams of DGCA are also on their way to the location, and they'll soon be there, and this certainly will go into a detailed inquiry. But important to note here that Learjet, NTSB had also recently, because in Feb last year also in Philadelphia also one jet had crashed, killing 7 people. It was also a Learjet. So NTSB had also issued warnings regarding the landing gear of this plane recently, around 3 to 4 months ago, and that is also something that was being looked into. So technical aspects of this will also be looked into as to what could be the reason. But currently DGCA is restricting itself to saying that there was probably some technical issue that led to this crash, and it was we are being told that it was while attempting a landing that it could not be a proper landing, and it crash landed, and that is why it went up to flames and killing all the 5 people on board.
So you're suggesting that there was an attempt by the pilot to land this aircraft, and that perhaps explains why this is an open field where this particular crash has taken place. So there was an attempt, according to Anvit, quoting DGCA sources, that the pilot was trying to land this plane, but unfortunately it did not work out as per his plan. And you can see from the site and the devastation there that the plane and anyone else who were aboard that, including Mr. Ajit Pawar, had very slim chances of escaping the fire that engulfed the plane soon after. And you can see the smoking plumes of fire still rising to the right of your screens. You can see to the bottom of your screens a large number of constituents and supporters of Mr. Ajit Pawar accompanying his mortal remains and perhaps those of the others to this hospital, where they will, of course, be kept in the morgue. And of course, there will have to be a post-mortem. And there will, of course, also be a prayer sabha very soon that will be organized. And that's one of the reasons why the Pawar family is also headed to Baramati as we speak. Arunima, fundamentally, this particular area is an area that the Pawars had been nursing for many, many decades altogether, in fact, throughout their political careers. So the people of Baramati must be in an extended state of absolute shock, because there was a lot of love for the family.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Baramati is like synonymous with the Pawar family. And like, all my colleagues too have been reporting, if Sharad Pawar was the initial name with which Baramati resonated, Ajit Pawar carved his own path too. Even when the split happened between NCP Sharad Pawar and NCP, which was led by Ajit Pawar, people were initially skeptical. But as the electoral results showed, Ajit Pawar had managed to win over the Baramati constituents and the neighboring areas in large parts of Maharashtra on his own. For him to have lost his life in such an unfortunate way at a time when already the cadre was geared up for the Zilla Parishad elections, the shock of Baramati residents is something that has to be seen to be believed. But the Sharad Pawar family is together in this hour of grief. The entire family, Parliament first day in session, Supriya Sule's residence here in Delhi. As soon as the news came in, all the NCP leaders rushed there. And now they're all rushing to Mumbai, from where they'll move towards Baramati. Silver Oak is the residence of Sharad Pawar. So I think that's where the entire Pawar family is moving toward, from there towards Baramati. Very, very unfortunate. And the visuals, once again, I want to refer to, because what authorities are pointing out that, this is the most unfortunate way for anybody to lose his life, because it seems that the remains are completely charred. The fire did not give anyone a chance, and it looks like that the pilot lost control in a way that after the crash landing, there was hardly any time, even if there was any injury, the injured had no chance really to escape the wreckage.
Come back to you both. I want to go across to Rohit Chandravakar, who's, of course, a very senior journalist joining us from Maharashtra for more on this. Mr. Chandravakar, obviously, a very sad moment to be speaking to you. Ajit Pawar no more, passed away in this horrible, devastating crash. What are your first thoughts, and put his legacy, his career into perspective for some of us here? Rohitji, can you hear me? This is Rahul Shivshankar. Can you hear me? Okay, we're going to try and connect with Rohitji in just a few moments. But let me just bring in Anvit. Anvit, very quickly, just talk us through the kind of plane this was. We are told it's a Learjet, obviously used for commercial purposes. But before I just come to you, let me just bring back Rohit into this broadcast. Rohit, thank you very much. Senior journalist joining us from Maharashtra, somebody who knows the politics in and out of the state. And not just that, but also Ajit Pawar and the Pawar family. A very, very, very devastating loss for the Pawar family and, of course, the people of Maharashtra. The Deputy Chief Minister, no more, passed away in unfortunate circumstances. Talk us through a little bit about the legacy, the life of Ajit Pawar's contributions, and of course, what this actually means now in the larger context.
That's correct. Maharashtra has woken up to a shock. I must say, this is really very shocking, totally unexpected thing. A person, a leader who kept himself physically very fit. We used to travel a lot, and just ahead of the district council polls, which are happening in the first, second week of February. Very crucial polls for Ajit Pawar. He was traveling in his home territory, that is Baramati in Pune district, for campaigning for the district council. Sudden, this Learjet crash that has happened while attempting landing at Baramati airport. And remember, Baramati has a wide, good quality runway because there is a big aviation academy that runs at Baramati, and all equipment for landing, including ILS and everything, is installed there. At this place, there has not been any such incident in the past. We've just got the news that the aircraft has crashed while landing, and there are no survivors. Ajit Pawar's role in developing Baramati, especially in Pune district, his hometown, has been huge. It's really ironical that his life ended at that very airport, which he himself took a lead in developing. This incident is going to affect the local elections that are coming up in Maharashtra in a major way. Huge shock for the Pawar family, because remember, senior Pawar, that is Pawar, in phase just a few weeks ago where he almost announced that he's taking a backseat, and the NCP, both factions of the Nationalist Congress Party, kind of united for the recently held municipal elections in Maharashtra. So it was clear that that both factions will be now led by relatively younger Ajit Pawar. And Supriya Sure and Ajit Pawar worked together in the recent municipal polls in Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad and other areas in Western Maharashtra, also in Mumbai. Now they were working together on campaigning and other things for the upcoming district polls. This incident, of course, has come as a shock, not just to this almost, you can call it, first family of Maharashtra politics, but also to party cadre, also to NCP, and also to citizens of Baramati and Pune district who are followers of Ajit Pawar and supporters of Ajit Pawar. This will make a huge impact on politics in Western Maharashtra.
Okay, well, there's some news coming in. Rohitji, stay on with me. I'm going to bring in Arunima, where it believes that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, has called the family of Mr. Ajit Pawar and expressed their condolences. Can you just take us over some of those details, Arunima?
Yes, so it looks like both the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister have spoken to Devendra Fadnavis. They've had a phone call after confirmation that Ajit Pawar was on that ill-fated charter plane. Both the Prime Minister and the Home Minister have been briefed by the Chief Minister of Maharashtra about whatever information is available at this stage. The information, as being reported by authorities, is that the plane tried to land at Baramati airstrip, but it looked like that the pilot had lost all control and it crash landed, and immediately after the crash landing, the wreckage was on fire. So the Home Minister and the Prime Minister have been given, this briefing. We are told by sources, by the Chief Minister, steps that are being taken to ensure that the Pawar family, whatever help is required to reach Baramati, supporters of Ajit Pawar, family members of Ajit Pawar, Bharatiya Janata Party's alliance partner. Ajit Pawar was in alliance with the Bharatiya Janata Party. So there is a possibility that even though Parliament is in session, senior leadership could be present there when the final rites are carried out. And that briefing by Chief Minister of Maharashtra to Home Minister and Prime Minister has just taken into account as to what can be done currently to just help the Pawar family in this huge hour of grief.
Yes, of course. This is going to have repercussions beyond just the state of Maharashtra and, of course, Baramati. National leaders of parties that have influence nationally. This is a completely different scenario. The last major accident involving a top Maharashtra politician was Gopinath Munde, if my memory serves me right, and Rohit might correct me there, but that was a news that came out of nowhere, and it also spun at that point in time into a major political news event because Mr. Munde was, of course, a very influential grassroots leader. So is Ajit Pawar. He's a very influential leader with a wide base, major support base, and, of course, the face of the NCP movement, which now will be, of course, under stress because he had formed his own political party. What happens to that faction? Will there be a reorientation, realignment? Of course, all very premature to talk about all of that right now. But fundamentally, viewers, there are going to be ripples across the political spectrum on the back of this unfortunate event. I want to go straight across to Anvit. Anvit, what are the details that are emerging? You were talking about the make of the aircraft, a special pilots required to have special qualifications to fly the aircraft in question, the Learjet. It's a commercial plane. Many businessmen own it. Many prominent people across the world own it. It flies at great speeds. It's smaller than, of course, normal commercial airliners, but it is a very effective aircraft. And you can see on the left of your screens, huge number of supporters there grieving, mourning the passing of Mr. Ajit Pawar. Anvit, over to you.
Right, Rahul, see, this aircraft is usually used for regional connectivity, and Barmer and Mumbai also have roughly about 250 kilometers of distance, and that is probably why this aircraft was preferred. And we are also learning from the sources that there are certain issues with this aircraft also. And previously, last year there was an accident in Philadelphia also, and there have been incidents in 2005 also, and previously in 2001 as well regarding this particular aircraft. And therefore, there have been warnings that have been issued, and not just one model. This was Learjet 45. There have been warnings on 60, 28, and many other models of Learjet. And mainly the problem was with the landing gear, which probably it's being said that usually either collapsed or malfunctioned while attempting landing. And that is the problem that probably appears to be possibly subject to detailed inquiry though. But because the officials are saying that the incident took place while attempting a landing, so there could be a reason that probably the same defect played in here as well. But that's certainly subject to detailed investigation. Now we are learning from the sources in DGCA and Airport Authority of India that teams will certainly reach the spot, and there'll be multiple layers of investigation that will be started, because this is a plane crash. So the team that will reach, they will certainly start with studying the wreckage distribution of the plane which has landed, so which has crash landed. So it will tell them as to in what was the roughly about speed, because FDR will also be, flight data recorder will also be retrieved, and black box will also be retrieved. So it will give information about what actual situation was the aircraft in its last moment. Also, a cockpit voice recorder and the conversation of the pilots in the last moment with the ATC, whether they had conveyed that there's a problem with the landing gear, whether they had conveyed any other problem, what was the last moment communication, that also will be looked into. Other than that, entire wreckage distribution will be studied, and topography and weather condition the last moment will also be read to identify what could have led to this issue, whether any external force led to it, or there could be a technical aspect that led to this crash. So a detailed investigation will be done. We are learning that officers from DGCA will reach there shortly. Mostly local authorities have already reached the spot, and senior officials are also on their way. As far as the aircraft is concerned, It's a small aircraft, 6 to 8 seater. We are being told 5 people were on board. We are being told officially by the DGCA that has issued a statement saying that none of them have survived, and they have also confirmed that Ajit Pawar was on board the plane. Further, if we talk about this incident, we are also learning that probably those who were to take the flight, they were also informed about some technicality on this plane, but that certainly is the details will come on later, and it will be premature to talk about that. But yeah, certainly there have been issues with this aircraft, and this was also a Learjet 45 that took off from Mumbai around 8:10, roughly a distance covering a distance of roughly about 250 kilometers, and around 9:12 it was that ATC was finally informed that the flight has crashed, and it has bent up to flips, and none of the 5 on board have survived the crash.
Well, viewers, if you're just tuning in, let me quickly sum up what has been happening before I bring in Rohit Chandrakar and also, of course, Arunima. What you're seeing on your screens, viewers, is the devastating aftermath of a plane crash that has taken place. Learjet has crashed into the firmament in Baramati district of Maharashtra, which also happens to be the home turf of the Pawar family. Aboard this Learjet were 6 individuals, including the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Ajit Pawar. The visuals that you're seeing are of the aftermath of the wreckage. You can still see the wreckage burning in the fields, in the open fields, after the pilot tried to attempt a forced landing. Why this was done, we don't quite know. Was it a technical issue? Was there any other unrelated factor? We can't confirm as of now. But the fuselage pictures show that there's a tail fin which has survived, but the rest of the fuselage, including the engines, just about every other component of this aircraft has been reduced to ashes. We're also being told that all individuals on board, including Mr. Ajit Pawar, have lost their lives in this very unfortunate, devastating air crash, which has shocked the country, coming as it is on the back of another air crash that shook, in fact, all of us, all Indians across the board, when an Air India flight had crashed right after takeoff in Ahmedabad. And these pictures are bringing back those memories and are, of course, flooding our conscience, because air accidents are rare. And when they do happen, usually there are attendant devastating consequences. And here, unfortunately, there are no survivors. Ajit Pawar has passed away this morning. We're being told that at 9:12 this morning, ATS received information of the crash. The plane took off from Mumbai at about 8:10, so about 45 minutes to an hour later, it crashed, and it crashed as it was attempting to land in Baramati. Let me just open this up, because if you've just joined this broadcast, we're being told that the Pawar family is rushing to Baramati. We're showing you pictures from outside the hospital, where, of course, thousands of the Pawar family supporters have congregated to mourn the passing of Ajit Pawar. I also want to bring in Payal, who's reporting on the DGCA aspect of this and the inquiries going forward. And right after, I'll bring in Rohit Chandrakar, senior journalist who knows a lot about Maharashtra and how this is going to perhaps impact not just Maharashtra politics, but national level politics too. Payal, over to you.
Yes, what we do understand, Rahul, from the DGCA is that they're going to be setting up an inquiry as far as that is concerned. And the black box will essentially be holding the key as far as this investigation really goes, to understand what really happened. But what the DGCA has been able to tell us, that right at the start of the runway, there was a crash landing that the aircraft did, and the aircraft immediately burst into flames as well. And that is something which they have really right now. But it is a matter of investigation to find out, because if that happened because of any technicality, or if that happened because of lack of fuel, etc. So nothing is being ruled out as of now. An inquiry certainly will be ordered. But like I said, the black box will certainly hold the key. And the DGCA has already begun to assess, to see what really caused this crash landing at this juncture.
As possible, because, as you know, viewers, first responders would have rescued all of those who needed to be, and of course recovered the body parts, etc., and the remains of those that did not make it. And as of now, I'm not trying to hazard a guess, because miracles do happen, but from all the indications coming from the ground, it does appear that there are no survivors. And those devastating pictures tell you the story, really, of just how improbable the prospect of anyone making it through. But miracles do happen. But these are pictures that are coming from the capital, New Delhi, where a large number of people are now congregating at Ajit Pawar's home in the Union capital, or perhaps residents of the Pawar family, maybe the residents of Supriya Sule. We'll try to get you more updates on that. But those are pictures of those who are coming to obviously extend their condolences to the Pawar family. The Pawar family will be leaving very soon for Baramati to also, of course, conduct the last rites. It is in Baramati that the Pawars founded their political ambitions, and it is in Baramati that one of them has met his end in very, very grievous circumstances. Mr. Chandravakar, put this into perspective for us, a massive blow. I think Gopinath Munde was the last leader to have passed away under untoward circumstances, and he was a mass roots leader. And of course, Mr. Ajit Pawar is no less in influence. And of course, he's the Deputy Chief Minister, current Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
Ravi, just to give you a perspective, this is such a big shock for everybody in Maharashtra, especially those connected to politics or those who are following politics, those who get affected by politics, mainly because Ajit Pawar was seen as a person who's survived in politics all through last 30 years. Remember, Ajit Pawar first got elected in 1991 from the Lok Sabha constituency of Baramati in Pune district. And he served a full term in Lok Sabha as a new entrant, as Maharashtra stalwart Sharad Pawar's nephew. That was his first term. And ever since, he has not lost a single election. He moved to the state assembly. He moved from national politics to state politics after his first term in Lok Sabha. And ever since, he has grown and only grown in Maharashtra, except for the period between 1995 and 1999, when BJP and Shiv Sena was in power in Maharashtra, and Ajit Pawar and his party had to sit in the opposition, except for those 5 years. And then later, of course, during Devendra Fadnavis's era, of 2014 to 2019, except for these two terms, Ajit Pawar has been in power throughout. He's been a Maharashtra Chief Minister, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister under various UPA regime as well as BJP's NDA regime. And he presented 10 budgets, annual budgets of Maharashtra government in the state assembly as Maharashtra Finance Minister. He used to tell us very proudly that he's perhaps the only one. He's in fact the only finance minister who got to present 10 annual budgets of Maharashtra government in Maharashtra Assembly. On personal front, I can tell you that he was very reticent with media, not really forthcoming, but very accessible to the public and his karyakartas and his activists. Also known to be very conscious about keeping himself physically fit. He was a teetotaler, did not smoke, and always kept telling everybody around him, how it is important to be physically fit. He always started his day very early in the morning and worked till, about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night every day, and traveled a lot and was very efficient in his work. There were some controversies in which he was involved, obviously many allegations that were leveled by the BJP during election season especially, but he survived through that. And politically speaking, I can tell you that Ajit Pawar is known to all of us, was I should say, very unfortunately we have to say, Ajit Pawar was now known to us as a political survivor. You may have a Congress government in Maharashtra, you may have a BJP government in Maharashtra, you may have a Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra, and what you saw was this political survivor was always part of that government throughout in the last 30 years or so, 3 decades. Ajit Pawar was 67 years old, came from political family. I can't call it humble background because his uncle Sharad Pawar was already an established politician and doing very well in Maharashtra politics when Ajit Pawar entered politics as a youngster. So he had that legacy and he built on it, worked very hard. Of course, there were some controversial things that were talked about him in terms of his involvement in some financial irregularities. Those allegations were also there in his public life, but he survived through all that and was, we were looking at him as, a good performer. Unfortunately, last few months in the recent municipal polls, and in the Nagar Parishad or city council polls that happened before the municipal polls, Ajit Pawar's party did not score too well. His party did reasonably well in the city council polls in Baramati and Pune area, but in the municipal polls, his performance was not too good in Pune and Pimpri-Chinchwad, which were his bastions, both the municipal corporations. But he was looking at bouncing back in the upcoming district council, Zilla Parishad polls, which are happening in February, and was building his campaign, and that's exactly for what he was traveling from Mumbai to Baramati this morning. The incident has shocked, people majorly, and I'm sure all politicians, including Maharashtra's top politicians and perhaps some from Delhi, will be now reaching Baramati for the proceedings that we can expect in Baramati, Ajit Pawar's hometown, Rahul.
Of course, he also enjoyed the immense, as Rohit is telling us, cross-party support. So this is not a leader who was confined to one particular side of the political fence. He had friends all across. The Pawars, very influential. The Pawars are a family that have shaped Indian politics for very, very long, played the role of even kingmaker in different capacities in the past. So this is a very influential family, friends across the political segment. Expect a large number of MPs from Parliament over the next few days to arrive in Mumbai. There are some pictures coming of netas who are breaking down, supporters, friends. There is going to be of course, an outpouring of grief, not just in Maharashtra, but across political lines, because the Pawars very firmly entrenched, and you can see some of those leaders breaking down, trying to get through, making even messages of condolence, offering messages of condolence, but finding it very, very difficult. I want to bring in Captain Vinod, who joins us. Captain Vinod, the plane that crashed, we're being told is a Learjet. Talk us a little bit about the Learjet and the capabilities of those who pilot Learjets. Do you require special licenses, any special training, etc.? Talk us through.
Rahul, a couple of things very, very clear. One is Learjet 45 XR is a very popular aeroplane amongst the small 8-seater version, and hardly any crashes at all in this particular class of aeroplane. Bombardier makes it. It cruises at very high altitude, 51,000 feet, and goes up to 3,500, 4,000 kilometers of distance. So Learjet enjoys of being one of the workhorses amongst the the low-end passenger carrying capable aeroplane. And BSR, I believe this aeroplane was being flown by the commander. Very, very senior commander is also in the management or one of the owners of the VSR. So there is no question that low experience was the issue. No issue of weather. I mean, Rahul, I've been looking at even a video or of a crash site. Sometimes the predictions I've given and we have done shows together has been more or less accurate. And in this case, I'm stumped for words, Rahul, because I do not think making any kind of guess is fraught with danger. We will come to maybe some videos will surface and we'll come to why it happened. But the question still remains how it went down. I believe the eyewitnesses are saying that before the crash, they saw a fireball on the aeroplane, which means that there could have been an engine trouble. But again, that is hazarding a guess, which I'm currently not doing so unless we see some video, which I'm sure will surface very, very soon. And we are going to carry this forward during the course of the day. But like DGCA put out, Rahul, nobody survived. And as I can see it, nobody could have survived. And Baramati, I mean, I've been to this place many a times. It is, I wouldn't say a tabletop runway, but it is on a slightly higher elevated zone. So the point at which the aeroplane has crashed is just short of the runway, looks like. On the slopes, maybe another few feet or maybe 10 to 20 meters, it would have been on the runway. So I don't know what went wrong, how they undershot the runway. Could it be engine trouble, Rahul? Very, very difficult to say. Another important thing that is very clearly standing out is safety. That questions that we've been asking for a while is again coming under question. Rahul, I am also looking at the social media. Conspiracy theories a lot are flying around. So
out,
even though
Captain, let's just keep that out. I don't really want to get into all of that. That is, social media is as you know, the sewer of this country. But the fundamental aspects of this, viewers, is that the plane met with a high impact. There's no doubt about that. You can see the devastation, the charred fuselage, parts of a wing that are visible at first glance, and the tail section. That's all that really survives. There's also an engine that we see that has been completely wrecked. And I want to go across to Arun Dhanta, who's reporting from straight outside the Pawar's residence in Delhi. Arun, what can you tell us? I think you're outside Mr. Sharad Pawar's residence. What's happening there? Has Mr. Sharad Pawar issued a statement? Has he come out? Is he expected to leave for Baramati, or has he left?
Well, see, Rahul, that's right. We are outside the Sharad Pawar's residence here in the national capital, 6th Janpath Road. And in fact, a short while ago, we saw that the entire family has left for Baramati. Of course, it's a very, very difficult and unfortunate, accident that happened there. And we saw flurry of leaders, member of parliaments reaching here at the residence of Sharad Pawar, meeting him, and of course Supriya Sule. There were some family members who were also here at the residence of Sharad Pawar. We saw Nishikant Dubey coming here, offering his briefings to Supriya Sule and the family. Priyanka Chaturvedi was also here. We also saw some of the MPs of NCP arriving here at the residence. But the latest, Rahul, that we can tell you is that the entire family, Supriya Sule and other family members of, Ajit Pawar has left for Baramati. As we've been discussing, it's a very, very difficult time for the entire family. Ajit Dada Pawar, as he was known in Baramati, and we all know, of course, there were some issues in the family when he separated from that party. But at this point, we can understand that how difficult is a time for the entire clan, and therefore we are seeing that immediately as the news emerged.
That breakup of the party might have led to, of course, a degree of optical convulsion, but we're told that it didn't really affect the bonds within the family. Let's go straight across to Mr. Gadkari.
उनके मेरे पारिवारिक संबंध रहे, बहुत कर्मठ, अच्छा प्रशासक और विकास की दृष्टि रखने वाले ऐसे वो नेता थे. उनके जाने से बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है. उनके परिवार को भी काफी उनके ऊपर भी एक बड़ा हादसा हुआ है. मुझे लगता है कि भगवान उनको ये जो घटना हुई है इसका दुख सहन करने की ताकत दे. मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से और पार्टी के तरफ से महाराष्ट्र के इस पुराने सहयोगियों को मैं श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ. भगवान उनके आत्मा को शांति दे, यही ईश्वर चरणों में प्रार्थना करता हूँ. नमस्कार.
Straight across to Anand Narasimhan, who joins us this morning, 10:30 a.m., looking very, very grim today. The pictures that are coming through from Baramati, Anand, this is very unexpected. We all woke up to this tragedy, devastating pictures from the ground. And I can tell you, viewers, at 10:30, if you're just tuning in before I hand it across to Anand Narasimhan, who joins us, let me just give you a quick overview. What you're seeing are pictures to the right of your screens of a Learjet that crashed in Baramati, just short of the Baramati airport. It was carrying 6 people aboard, including the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Ajit Pawar. This crash took place just before 9 o'clock in the morning. ATC was informed shortly after at about 9:10. This is what the information we're getting from our BBC sources. Let me go straight across to Milind Deora, who is, of course, the leader of the Shiv Sena. Mr. Deora, you worked and you knew Mr. Ajit Pawar, Dada as he was called, Ajit Dada as he was called. a leader who enjoyed a huge connect across political lines. Your first reactions, your comments?
Well, absolutely. I knew him for many decades. He knew my late father as well. He was part of the United Congress before the NCP split in 1999. And I mean, many things come to mind, but the first reaction is, of course, just the same shock that everyone shares. People in Maharashtra, people in the country, people who knew him, people who knew about his work. My condolences to his family. And I just remember him as somebody who was he was always known from his early days when he first got into politics and into electoral politics, became a minister until today, while he was Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He was known as a very able administrator. He was someone who knew how to get things done very efficiently. That is, in my opinion, certainly going to be a huge loss to the state of Maharashtra. But, you know, more than that, the memories that come to mind are really memories of his very accessible, very affable nature. He was someone who was extremely affable at a personal level to people who knew him. Frankly, even in his public speeches, when he was talking to party workers or he was at a public program, he was someone who would, rather than give a speech, a monologue, he was really engaging in a dialogue with the people. So he was a unique politician in that sense, and it certainly is a big loss to the state of Maharashtra, to the people of Maharashtra, and frankly to national politics as well.
Milind, obviously this is one of those events that will have repercussions and influence not just in Maharashtra but beyond.
You know, I'm not sure what it's right now. My mind isn't able to sort of even think about what the political ramifications of this could be. But all I will say is that at a personal level, certainly it's a loss. At a political level, certainly it's a loss. And I really can't say what will come out of this. I just remember his affable nature, frankly. I just remember him being very friendly, being very encouraging, taking matters very seriously, but yet knowing how to shrug off certain things, which I think is important in a tough dog-eat-dog profession like politics. He had that nature where he could, deal with difficult situations in a light-headed way. And sometimes that helps. And that to me was a very unique trait. And most certainly I've seen him working. I've seen him as a minister in the past. I've seen him now as Deputy Chief Minister. In fact, I've seen him in his earlier avatar even as Deputy Chief Minister. If you went to him with a problem, a public issue, his ability to cut through the red tape, to solve it very quickly, to bring different agencies on board, get things done was very, very remarkable. It was very unique. And so his administrative skills will also be missed.
Yes, thank you very much, Milind. Commiserations to you, condolences, of course. Viewers, you're seeing those pictures in the middle of your screens, devastating impact of that Learjet carrying Mr. Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, completely eviscerated aircraft, and the news shortly after that there were no survivors on board. Ajit Pawar no more. His supporters have gathered outside the Baramati hospital to pay their condolences. The Pawars are rushing to Baramati, which was, of course, the political bastion, really, of the Pawar family. Mr. Ajit Pawar won his first election to parliament from there. And life, as they say, viewers, comes a full circle. And Mr. Pawar breathing his last on the soil of Baramati. Let me go straight across to Anand. Anand, this is a devastating blow, in fact, to the Pawar clan, to the Pawars themselves as the political family, and of course, it will have huge repercussions across the political spectrum.
Yes, Rahul, we've just got news coming through. Thanks for that. And morning to our viewers. Not a very good morning. 9:12 a.m. is when the first time that the crash was reported to the ATC. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi has now just expressed his condolences. He said Ajit Pawarji was a leader of the people, having a strong grassroots level connect. He was widely respected as a hardworking personality at the forefront of serving the people of Maharashtra. His understanding of administrative matters and passion for empowering the poor and downtrodden were also noteworthy. His untimely demise is very shocking and saddening. Condolences to his family and countless admirers. Om Shanti. That's what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed as his condolence message on the sudden death of Ajit Pawar, son of the soil, truly son of the soil, Ajit Dada Pawar, as his followers lovingly called him, as he was even referred to within the Maharashtra polity. A 66-year-old born on the 22nd of July 1959, Ajit Pawar is seen as someone who was a very, very strong administrator. He was passionate about doing good for the people of Maharashtra and especially within the state beyond the elite and beyond the metros. It was in the heartland of Maharashtra that Ajit Pawar actually really persevered and worked hard and enjoyed a huge amount of equity. Irrespective of whether they were in government or in opposition, Ajit Pawar was always popular among the Aam Marathi Manus or outside, beyond the realm of the urban areas. But he was also someone who was passionately trying to craft his legacy beyond Sharad Pawar. He was out with a point to prove that he could lead the NCP and he could steer it in a direction where there would be an era of the NCP beyond the legacy or beyond perhaps the shadows of Sharad Pawar himself. Son of the soil is what everybody called him, and in a sad turn of events, tragedy though, but he has breathed his last on his own soil, that is Baramati. He was actually heading to Baramati to address a lot of rallies, public rallies, ahead of the scheduled civic body elections in Baramati. So that was one of the Mahanagar Palikas that did not go to the polls at that point. When all about 28, 29 civic body polls were conducted simultaneously across Maharashtra, Baramati was still left, and he was out there campaigning at the grassroots, proving a point that he will be able to rest and also assert himself as someone who can follow in the footsteps and take the NCP forward. The family feud aside, the civic body elections in Pune, Pimpri, Chinchwad has actually brought the family back together and they tried to combine ranks at the civic body polls. But Ajit Pawar had a point to prove. As a Deputy Chief Minister through the COVID period when he was with Uddhav Thackeray, and also thereafter when he switched and joined the Mahayuti with the BJP and the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar was always an effective administrator, a hard-working politician who allowed his work to speak, and he spoke like the local people. He did not bother about the elitist political pragmatism, etc. But he was somebody who would always connect with the locals, always connect with the people, and always there to listen to them. Now, we've got more news coming through. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sending out his condolences, his tribute, saying he had strong grassroots level connect. And anybody and everybody in Maharashtra who understands the politics of Maharashtra will say that. We got a reaction coming in from G. Kishan Reddy.
देश के लिए, महाराष्ट्र का विकास के लिए साहस से निर्णय लेकर राजनीति में खड़ा हुआ व्यक्ति है और कभी भी किसके सामने झुका नहीं वो। महाराष्ट्र विकास होना चाहिए, महाराष्ट्र के गरीब लोगों को सेवा करना चाहिए, ऐसे निर्णय लेकर वो काम किया है। और अजित पवार के कारण, अजित पवार जी का परिवार का हो, उनका खुद का पार्टी का हो, महाराष्ट्र के लिए भी हो और एनडीए के लिए भी बहुत नुकसान है। मैं उनका परिवार को साहस देने के लिए मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ, उनका आत्मा को शांति दे।
G. Kishan Reddy also saying that he was a grassroots level leader, always passionate about the growth of Maharashtra and about the future and doing good for Maharashtra. Ajit Dada Pawar will be missed, sorely missed. The family is rushing. They were all based in Delhi. They're all rushing towards Baramati. Arun Dhanta joins us. So tributes pouring in for someone who was seen as a true son of the soil and someone who was a grassroots leader. The Prime Minister also underlining the same, even as we have pictures of a very emotional Anil Deshmukh there. Arun.
Well, that's right, Anand. condolences are pouring in on social media. Prime Minister Modi has put out, in fact, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah. In fact, both Prime Minister and Home Minister have spoken to the family of late Ajit Pawar. Of course, as you've been speaking about the works that he has done, it's a loss not only for the Maharashtra's politics but for the nation's politics. He's somebody who has pan-party relationship. He was known as Ajit Dada Pawar, in his area. And in fact, right now, as we speak, Anand, I am outside the Sharad Pawar's residence. In fact, a short while ago, Supriya Sule had left from here. She will, of course, be straight away heading to Baramati. It's a very, very difficult times for the entire family. We saw, of course, there were issues amongst the family when he came out of the NCP, but still the family relationship was very much intact. In fact, when Supriya Sule left, her face was extremely in deep pain. That's what we could see in those visuals. In fact, we also saw that NCP MPs coming here, and in fact, BJP MP Nishikant Dubey, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Neeraj Shekhar, all of them had come here, met Supriya Sule, and in fact, all of them, when they came out, they didn't speak to media, but they were also very, very in deep anguish. That's something which we can see. And Ajit Dada Pawar, of course, who's known for his unique way of working, the way of especially he worked for Baramati. I myself had gone to Baramati. I saw there the kind of developments that he has done, and that's the reason why, Anand, it has always reflected in the elections that there was a clear edge to Ajit Pawar in that area. But today, of course, we lost him. Very, very unfortunate day, and the entire family is rushing for Baramati now. From here, Supriya Sule and some family members, and also Sharad Pawar from Mumbai and others will shortly be seen there in Baramati.
Despite their political differences, Arun, and to our viewers, despite their political differences, the family remained close. They did not break away family ties, and they were not adversarial. There was still a certain level of link and also proximity among the family members, and deep amount of respect between Ajit Pawar and also Supriya Sule, despite the tussle that who would be the political legatee of Sharad Pawar. Now, we got more news coming through, just taking you through what top DGCA sources are telling CNN News 18. Top DGCA officials on further probe are actually saying that the wreckage distribution will be studied and photographed in detail to find out the direction and speed and impact on the aircraft. Black box retrieval is crucial to try and study the aircraft health and whether the aircraft was fit to fly. Pre-flight maintenance data will be also under scrutiny, and further, the cockpit voice recorder will suggest what the pilots were discussing at the last moment. Any official records of pilot ATC communication will clear what went wrong, and further external factors will also be looked at, like weather, runway positioning, wind, etc. Now, Anvit Srivastava joins us with more details on this story. Yes, Anvit.
RNC, these are the steps in which DGC will be conducting its final investigation into this crash, and teams, we are being told, are already on their way to the spot to do a detailed study, also because the plane has crashed, the wreckage, the kind of distribution it has, because it went up in flames. So it will be very crucial to retrieve the black box from the plane and find out how the aircraft was actually acting up in its last moment. So that is very important, to study the aircraft health, whether it was fit to fly, what was the technical issue, if there was any in this aircraft, because previously NTSB also had flagged issues and had told FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration in the US, to make sure that many of these aircrafts had shown defects in landing gear, particularly, and across models this defects was found. In fact, last February also a jet had crashed in Philadelphia, in which 7 people were killed on board. So these Learjet accidents have been there in the news, and following that, NTSB also had issued a statement and had asked FAA to act on it, and therefore therefore DGCA will also keep those defects in mind, and not just the record distribution, but further other than the retrieval of black box, cockpit voice recorder will also be looked at to find out as to what was the conversation between, not just between the pilots also, but also between the pilot and the ATC, what communication was there, and if there was any defect or any problem on board that was communicated to the ATC, whether it was a mayday call, whether there was any defect was communicated, whether they were seeking any directions to land, if there was any issue on board the plane. Also, it will clear the external factors will be studied to see that whether runway positioning is what could have led to this crash, whether the altitude that the plane was landing at was not right or the speed was not right. So all those things will be looked at, and to finally conclude as to what happened. There could be internal and technical factors as well. External factors will also not be ruled out and will also be looked at. So initially, DGCA has said, even though they have confirmed that Ajit Pawar was on that flight, there were 5 people on board, 2 pilots, 2 of his staff, and Ajit Pawar was there, and the flight has crashed and no survivors are there. They've also said that the attempt to land was being made, and it was that time when the accident took place. So keeping this in mind, it cannot be ruled out that NTSB that had issued, raised issues with the landing gear, that could have played in here as well. So DGC will keep that also in mind while probing the incident. So far, the incident has finally come out, and they've confirmed the incident, confirmed the death as well.
Now, we got many reactions coming in. This is a Learjet, one of the workhorses that is being used as chartered flights by many netas and people all across the world. Very trustworthy, flies at very high altitudes and can cover at least 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers in terms of distance. And it is seen as one of the workhorses among the low passenger chartered flights which are taken in, and even from medium to long distances. Now, there are eyewitness reactions that have come in, which actually showcase the fact that it was at the approach. Now, if you were to see the pictures, viewers, the pictures very clearly say that just ahead of the approach of the landing strip, that's where the crash has happened. There are eyewitness versions that are coming in. We'll play that out in a bit. Union Minister Piyush Goyal has also reacted. We'll play that out. I think devastated. That is the first reaction that's come in from the entire Pawar family. Just one word. They're all shocked and dismayed, and absolute disbelief for anybody, because such is life. We may make a lot of plans, but then when death comes knocking, it can just put all those plans in abeyance and just take a loved one away. From a family perspective, they're all very shocked, because this has happened in Baramati. He was going to Baramati to try and address a few rallies ahead of campaigning, ahead of the Baramati civic body polls. Baramati is the bastion of the Pawar family, and this is where they have learned their work in terms of political and public life. And for nearly more than 4 decades, Ajit Dada Pawar has been active while working and learning under the shadows and the able guidance of Sharad Pawar. The octogenarian must be shocked today. One can only think what Mr. Sharad Pawar must be going through. He has battled so many adversities politically, personally, and he has fought through them and emerged. But condolences to the Pawar family. And as Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Nitin Gadkari have already said, everybody is only praying that they are accorded the strength to deal with such a tragedy as that has transpired. An air crash that has taken away Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister, Ajit Pawar, fondly known as Ajit Dada Pawar. Arunima now with us. Arunima, the DGCA is now going to get into the details, but according to an eyewitness version, they're saying that the aircraft, as it descended, it seemed it would crash, and it did crash. It then exploded. There was a massive explosion, and after that, we rushed there and saw that the aircraft was on fire. There were 4 or 5 explosions in the aircraft again. More people came here and tried to pull the people out of the aircraft. But since it was a huge fire, people could not help. Ajit Pawar was on board, and this is really painful for us. I can't describe it in words. This is one of the eyewitness version, and the pictures also say the same. It was approaching. It was making an approach to the landing strip. So what went wrong and where is going to be very, very critical, and people will need these answers.
Yesterday, when the plane was about to land, eyewitnesses who are not technically proficient to their naked eye also, the plane seemed unstable. Eyewitnesses say that it looked to us that the plane would crash, and it did crash land. What really went wrong, we do not know. Was this an engine-related issue, any technical failure, or, as some sources are indicating, Was it anything to do with the conditions in which the plane was landing? All of that will have to be investigated. But the eyewitness account, if there are any videos, none have surfaced so far. But if there are any visual evidence at the time of landing, that could help the investigators as well. And like Anvit said, the normal standard operating procedure will be followed. The black box, the flight data recorder, the engine, the placement of the wings, and the tail end of the plane has survived. So there could be some evidence there as well when technical investigation is carried out. But this is extremely unfortunate. It looks like that the pilot was not in control of the aircraft, and he could not really steer it towards the runway. Right at the start of the runway, the flight crashed, and in minutes it was on fire. Eyewitness account also seems to be suggesting that there were multiple explosions, at least 4 to 5 explosions after the crash landing, giving no chance if there was even anyone injured, anyone who had survived the crash. The fire ensured that there was no chance of them being pulled out of the wreckage.
Yes, and this was the approach for this airstrip, and many people say that there had been repeated requests to try and lengthen the the length of this entire airstrip and also give it a certain more amount of permanency and a more solid structure than the way it had been currently designed. And these requests had also come from Ajit Pawar himself. We have one of the eyewitness reactions. Let's listen into what this eyewitness had to say.
ये हमने देखा कि एरोप्लेन जब नीचे आया था ऐसा लग रहा था उसका क्रैश हो जाएगा ऐसा हम सोच रहे थे, तभी क्रैश हो गया। हम देखे कि हमें लगा नहीं क्रैश हो गया है, लेकिन एयर ट्रैप पे उतरेगा ऐसा लगा, उतर रहा है, लेकिन क्रैश हुआ और उसके बाद स्फोट हो गया उसका जबरदस्त। स्फोट होने के बाद वो हम देखने आए, पहले देखा तो उसको आग लगी थी पूरे प्लेन को, और उसके बाद 4-5 स्फोट हो गया विमान में उसका, और उसके बाद बहुत लोग आ गए और उसने निकालने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बड़ी आग लगी, उसके कारण कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन सब आ गए। तब बाद में उसमें अजीत दादा था। ये हमारे लिए बहुत शौक की बात में है कि हमें बता नहीं सकते हम बात में ऐसा, लेकिन हमने देखा है कि पायलट ने भी ट्राई किया होगा कि लैंडिंग करने का, लेकिन लैंडिंग हुआ नहीं है। ये बहुत शौक वाली घटना है।
So the eyewitness there saying that they were watching the aircraft and they could see that there was something wrong. It may crash. The aircraft attempted to land, but then crashed just ahead of the airstrip. There were multiple explosions. They tried to rush towards the crash and the debris to try and rescue people. They were aware that Ajit Dada Pawar was part of that in that flight, but they just could not do anything because there were multiple explosions and the extent of the fire was such, the blaze was such because of the crash, that they just could not help and save anybody or rescue anybody. And they're all very, very, very shocked. A lot of shock, angst, despair, dismay among the supporters of Ajit Pawar and also across the political fraternity. The Pawar family has just is en route to Baramati. Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, her husband Sadanand Sule, Mrs. Sharad Pawar, they are all traveling and rushing to Baramati. Parth Pawar, Rohit Pawar, they will all also be making their way. The entire Pawar family will head to Baramati. Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, has also expressed condolences. He said, and he's posted on X, the news of the tragic demise of Shri Ajit Pawar in a plane crash is deeply shocking and profoundly distressing. It is an untimely loss of a leader who had a long and promising political career ahead. No words can adequately express the immense grief that the bereaved family must be enduring during this difficult hour. I extend my deepest condolences to the entire Pawar family, his supporters and well-wishers. Having served the people of Maharashtra in various constitutional capacities, Shri Ajit Pawar shall be remembered as a seasoned politician who discharged his responsibilities towards his people with sincerity and astuteness. May his soul rest in peace. Mallikarjun Kharge. Ajit Pawar entered politics and public life in 1982 and then was elected to the Lok Sabha as early as 1991. Nearly 4 decades in public life for Ajit Pawar. Lalu Prasad Yadav has also taken to X to post his condolences. बारामती प्लेन हादसे में महाराष्ट्र के डिप्टी सीएम श्री अजीत पवार जी के निधन का अत्यंत दुखद समाचार प्राप्त हुआ। ईश्वर उनकी आत्मा को शांति प्रदान करे तथा परिजनों और समर्थकों को इस अपूरणीय क्षति को सहने की क्षमता प्रदान करे। हादसे की उच्च स्तरीय जांच होनी चाहिए। विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि. That's what Lalu Yadav has tweeted and posted. There is also a message that has come across from Ram Mohan Naidu. The Civil Aviation Minister Vinod Tavade has also tweeted. Ram Mohan Naidu coming out and saying, deeply saddened by the tragic passing of Shri Ajit Pawar in the plane crash in Baramati earlier today. My sincere condolences to his family, loved ones, and all those affected by this loss. May his contributions to public life be remembered, and may the bereaved find strength in this difficult time. There is also a message that has come in from Vinod Tavade of the BJP. बारामती की मिट्टी से उठा एक तूफान आज उसी मिट्टी में शांत हो गया। माननीय अजीत दादा के दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण निधन की खबर से आज पूरा महाराष्ट्र स्तब्ध और शोकमग्न है। मेरे साथ ही हर प्रदेशवासी का इस पर विश्वास कर पाना बहुत मुश्किल है। राजनीति में स्पष्ट और बेबाक, जनता के प्रिय और अपने शब्दों पर अडिग रहने वाले जननेता आज हमें छोड़कर चले गए। अलविदा अजीत दादा. This is Vinod Tavade. Viewers, one must understand that Maharashtra politics, despite being fiercely contested, there has always been a certain level of amiability and perhaps how we would say polite behavior among politicians outside of the active political stage. They would be great friends, have a cup of tea, have conversations, and perhaps even discuss politics. So what they would take, their plan politically, and how they would behave personally, there was always a certain decorum that was maintained. And just like Shri Nitin Gadkari said, there were always great personal equations and relations, despite what level or line of politics one would follow. And this was established even by the likes of Sharad Pawar and Balasaheb Thackeray. At that time, they were great friends. They would communicate personally, but politically, they were fierce opponents and rivals. And that's why this sentiment is coming across political party lines from Maharashtra leaders, because they all respect, like, and know each other personally. Let's go across to Yesha Kotak. Yesha is on her way to Baramati. Baramati must be shocked. This was the bastion. And like Vinod Tavade said, he came from here, from Baramati, and rose to the Maharashtra and national spectrum. And tragedy as it is, he breathed his last at his own soil in Baramati. Eknath Shinde is speaking, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister.
दुर्दैवी घटना आज महाराष्ट्रात घडली आहे. खरं म्हणजे असं कुणाच्या स्वप्नातही वाटलं नसेल की अजितदादा एवढ्या लवकर आपल्यातून जातील. ही महाराष्ट्रासाठी अतिशय दुःखद आणि दुर्दैवी घटना अजितदादांच्या जाण्याने झालेली आहे.
Eknath Shinde saying this is a very, very sad and tragic turn of events.
अजितदादा गेले अनेक वर्ष या महाराष्ट्राच्या राजकारणात नेतृत्व करत होते.
For the last many years,
आणि
Ajit Dada Pawar has been at the forefront of Maharashtra politics as a tall leader.
परखड, स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा,
candid, straight
आणि
talking,
प्रशासनावर असलेली त्यांची
and a very, very able, hard-working administrator.
प्रत्येक गोष्टीचा त्यांना बारीक अभ्यास करून बोलण्याची सवय होती.
His politics was practiced.
परखड, स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा, निर्भीड, रोखटोक बोलणारे असले तरी सुद्धा त्याला चूक म्हणणारे असले तरी सुद्धा अतिशय मनाने ते निर्मळ होते. त्याचा अनुभव मी स्वतः घेतलेला आहे. त्यांच्यासोबत
ready to take responsibility for both achievements and failures.
मी मुख्यमंत्री असताना त्यांनी उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून देखील काम केलं.
He was deputy chief minister when I was chief minister.
जेव्हा मुख्यमंत्री मी असताना मुख्यमंत्री माझी लाडकी बहीण योजना किंबहुना इतरही योजना जेव्हा आम्ही सुरू केल्या तेव्हा आर्थिक जे काही
and
घडी आहे
supported all the
किंवा आर्थिक तरतूद
initiatives
जी आहे
like Ladki Behan
ती
that were
अतिशय
undertaken
उत्कृष्टपणे
during my
उत्तमपणे
tenure as Chief Minister.
त्यांनी
He
त्यावेळेस
ensured
केली
funds were available. He ensured
आणि
that the implementation
त्याचा
of
अनुभव
these
मला
schemes
आहे आणि एकदा
went
करायचं
about as
ठरवलं की
planned.
ते अजितदादा करायचे. करतो बघतो पाहतो असे शब्द त्यांच्या डिक्शनरीत नव्हते.
And he was always a person who would say, if it's got to be done, it will be done.
असं स्पष्ट
There were
वक्तेपणा
no ifs, buts, and
या
maybes in
महाराष्ट्राने
his
पाहिलेला आहे.
lexicon and his language.
मी असेन, मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्रजी असतील, अजितदादा असतील, आम्ही टीम म्हणून काम केलं.
We worked as a team, and we worked
आमच्या
together.
वेळाही कामाच्या वेगवेगळ्या, मी पहाटे उशिरापर्यंत काम करतो. अजितदादा पहाटे लवकर काम सुरू करतात. देवेंद्रजी दिवसभर काम करतात. आणि अजितदादांनी 6-6 वाजता देखील अपॉइंटमेंट दिलेल्या अधिकाऱ्यांनी आणि लोकप्रतिनिधींनी पाहिलेल्या आहेत.
So he was one of the most hardworking leaders I've known. We all worked
आणि वेळेचं भान ठेवणारा
round the clock. He has given. There are officials who would confirm this, that he has given appointments as early as 6 a.m. in the morning.
काल परवाच आमची एका कार्यक्रमामध्ये भेट झाली. सरन्यायाधीश आपले भारताचे
I just met him the day before
मुंबईत आले होते
at a function
आणि ते
in
येण्यापूर्वी
Mumbai.
आम्ही तिथंच एका चेंबरमध्ये बसलो होतो आणि त्यावेळेस झालेल्या चर्चा, गप्पा गोष्टी,
and we were sitting together in the
आजही
chamber.
सकाळी जेव्हा मला त्यांची ही घटना
We had a
कळली,
couple of we had an in-depth conversation about work and
त्याच
otherwise.
आठवणी काल परवाच्या येऊ लागल्या. खरं म्हणजे माझ्यापेक्षा ते राजकारणात देखील अनुभवी नेते, गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासूनचा त्यांचा अनुभव.
No one would have thought that
वयाने
such would
देखील
be
माझ्यापेक्षा
the
ते
turn
मोठे
of
होते
events in such a short span of
आणि
time. I still
अनुभवाने
remember, and I will always remember my last
आणि म्हणून
conversation with
त्यांना
him. We have lost a very, very able administrator too
राज्यातल्या
soon.
अनेक विषयांचा गाढा अभ्यास होता.
And he was
अनेक
aware
विभाग त्यांनी
of some of the
हाताळले.
most complex and
त्याचा राज्याला फायदा
even
होत
the
होता.
basic nitty-gritties
मंत्रिमंडळात
of
देखील
affairs relating to
ज्यावेळेस
Maharashtra.
काही विषय यायचे त्यावेळेस आपल्या राज्याची आर्थिक परिस्थिती अशी आहे, आपल्याला सर्वांना काटकसर करावी लागेल, अशी अगदी निर्भीडपणे सांगणारे अजितदादा.
He is somebody who always spoke his mind, fearless and ready to do what is required in order for the betterment and the progress of Maharashtra.
आणि त्यामुळे त्यांच्या जाण्याने फक्त पवार कुटुंबियांचंच नाही, तर संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्राचं न भरून येणारं नुकसान झालेलं आहे.
And it's not just the Pawar family or the NCP or the party, but all of Maharashtra has lost a true son and a good leader.
त्यामुळे राजकारणातले आम्ही तिघजण एक टीम म्हणून काम करत असलो तरी सुद्धा
We've always worked together as a team.
हरपल्याची, गेल्याची भावना देखील, दुःख देखील माझ्या मनामध्ये आहे.
And it will hurt me because we worked together as one team. He was like an elder brother in that team, and I feel that. I will feel that loss. This loss hurts me, and I express my deepest condolences and offer my Shraddhanjali.
हे दुःख पचवण्याची क्षमता.
We hope that the family has the courage to be able to brave this, to be able to bear this loss, and then still move on. Heart will also be going out to amongst a lot of the politicians, to the octogenarian Sharad Pawar, who really, really loved his nephew and saw him as his political legatee. He was torn between his love for Supriya Sule, who he wanted to be placed and secured politically. And somewhere it was decided that Ajit Dada Pawar would be the state face of the NCP, whereas Supriya Sule would ply the politics at a national level. Tehseen Poonawalla is with us this morning. Shocking turn of events. Rajesh Tope is with us. Shaina NC is also with us. Yesha Kotak is joining us live. We'll also have Raj Punj of the Shiv Sena. Daniel Francis is with us. Arun Dhanta is with us. Yesha Kotak, you're on your way to Baramati. People of Baramati are shocked. All those who have posted that video, the horrific video of the crash, all the locals, they are saying this is something which we'll never be able to forget. This is a shocking turn of events. We've lost a big leader, and he was really loved by the people of Baramati.
Absolutely, Anand. In fact, more so, last time when we were around at Baramati, we had interviewed Ajit Pawar one-on-one. And it's even more tragic that, we head today to Baramati to cover this very tragic event. In fact, throughout the time, whatever we've experienced at Baramati, people had always credited Ajit Pawar for making Baramati to where it is. Rightly so. In fact, we also heard Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde speaking about this. They would begin anywhere at 4 o'clock. His lineups would begin at 5 o'clock. And be it each and every small village of Baramati, people would gather, line up to meet him because they were sure that, when they would meet Ajit Dada, they would have a solution to the problem. Whoever would come to him would not be unheard. Was something that was experienced by people at Baramati, and that's where, something that you've also been speaking about when it came to both the Pawars, be it Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar, it was quite evident that Sharad Pawar was the one who bought that place for Baramati, but Ajit Pawar was taking forward that legacy, and which was also something that was evident when it came to both the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha elections. They happened to, support Sharad Pawar in the Lok Sabha and Ajit Pawar in the Vidhan Sabha election. For Baramati Karzit, always saw that the Pawar family had never separated. They would in fact see both of them coming together. And for the entire Baramati, for people at Baramati, Pawar family was an extension of their own family, the kind of work that was being done. Because even recently when we saw Ajit Pawar was constantly at Baramati for the last couple of weeks. He was constantly in and around Baramati, in Pune, taking a stock of all the elections that took place, the municipal corporation elections that took place, because this was something that was very close to his heart. His work, his vision was something that was quite evident at Baramati. And for an incident like this to take place at Baramati, a place which he grew, which he in fact molded into the kind of industrial hub that it became, is in fact a tragic moment for the people in Baramati to see this so closely.
Right.
As far as incidents are concerned, when the tragic incident took place, he was taken to Baramati Medical College. All of these places have in fact been contributed and developed by the Pawar family themselves.
Well, he was also a straight talker, and he would talk with the locals like the locals would understand, and oftentimes the media would take that up and really whip it up because it was controversial, and he didn't mind these controversies. He didn't care to react to them because he knew that his connect was at the grassroots, and he connected like the grassroots wished to connect with him. Shaina NC is with us, Tehseen Poonawalla, Raj Punj, and Daniel Francis also with us. Arun Dhanta continues to report on this story. But what a tragic turn of events. Shaina NC, your thoughts? This has left a lot of people absolutely shocked and beyond belief.
Yes, you're right. Shocked is an understatement. Sometimes one falls short on words and what does one say in a situation such as this. Well, Anand, Ajit Pawar and myself, we are neighbors. We have the same boundary wall. So when I went to his room this morning and spoke to his staff, they were saying that he met with public from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then left for Baramati. It also shows you the challenges that leaders such as him has with the finance minister, has with the irrigation minister, has with the deputy chief minister, and a 50-year-long life in public life is not very easy. People only see it from the outside. So I think at this point, one would only want to offer prayers to his family and to his constituents and to his people, for which sometimes, we really don't look at whether it's a Sachin Pilot losing his father or a Jyotiraditya Scindia losing his father or a Gopinath Mondewar losing his life or a Vijay Rupani losing his life. And here you have Ajit Pawar also losing his life much earlier than his time. So my prayers and Shraddhanjali to all of them.
You're saying 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. This morning, he was working, meeting people, and then he set off to Baramati. As of now, we are given to understand there were 5 people aboard that flight. The reports are saying 6 or 5, but 5 confirmed names we have. Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister, his PSO, Vijay Jadhav, Sumit Kapoor, the pilot, Shambhavi Pathak, another pilot, and flight assistant Pinky Mali. So these are the 5 names that we have. And how shocking it is, a Learjet, a trustworthy a plane that can be depended upon to try and, and it is one of the most preferred planes that netas and people all over the world, businessmen, otherwise travelers, otherwise charter, a dependable aircraft, which now eyewitnesses say looked like it was not in control as it was making that approach to the Baramati runway. Tehseen Poonawalla, quite shocking.
At the onset, condolences to the Pawar family. In fact, I met Ajit ji just a few days ago at somebody's residence, and prior to that, I met him at the funeral of Suresh Kalmadi, the erstwhile MP from Pune. And yeah, it just makes you realize how fickle life is. 1 second, you're alive and healthy. Like Shaina said, he was meeting his constituents, he was meeting his people, and the next second, you know more. So just all the strength to the family. I'm going to finish this and head to Baramati. I just spoke to Parth, his son, and I'm sure, and the whole family seems devastated. I think the people of Baramati, the people of Pune are devastated, and this is a tragic loss for Maharashtra politics, and it is also, a sad reality of how politics and life is so fickle. But most importantly, this aircraft that you spoke about, the company that operates it, this is the second aircraft that is crashed. And I do hope DGCA also wakes up, because what we've seen, Anand, on a larger note in the last year and a half, is a lot of air crashes and chopper crashes. I think DGCA needs to wake up. I think we need to have a better discussion, aviation safety, why this is happening. Is maintenance being okay? What is the reasons? And I hope that these reports are transparently put before people, because I think that is important for aviation sector and for our nation.
Point well made, and I think the DGCA has already put out the details. The DGCA very clearly saying that they are going to get to the bottom of it. The cockpit voice recorder, the last conversation that was had with the ATC, all of this will be very carefully monitored, and that seen, was the aircraft in an operable condition, and did it go through the mandatory flight checks before taking off? All of this is now subject to investigation. We've got a tweet from Rahul Gandhi. He's posted on X. महाराष्ट्र के उप मुख्यमंत्री श्री अजीत पवार जी और उनके सह यात्रियों की आज हवाई जहाज दुर्घटना में निधन का समाचार अत्यंत पीड़ादायक है। इस शोक के पल में महाराष्ट्र की जनता के साथ हूं। समस्त पवार परिवार और प्रियजनों को इस दुख की घड़ी में अपनी संवेदनाएं व्यक्त करता हूं। So again, shock coming through, but more within Rajpunj, if I may come to you. Shri Rajesh Tope ji is with us. Rajesh ji, namaste. Very, very shocking news. Dukhat samachar.
Yes, it is an irreparable loss to the state at large, to the party particularly, and to my family as well, because I am attached to Mr. Pawar's family since 2 generations. My father was MP, myself since the age of 25. We are continuously attached to the party and to each other. So he has been a mentor to us. He has always guided us in all ups and downs of my life, and he has taught us lot many things which a leader should have within the leadership. So I think that we have lost a great leader, and this loss cannot be recovered by anyone. There's a big vacuum which will be created by his demise, and it's a very painful, I mean to say, very, very painful situation for all of us in the Maharashtra state, and especially to NCP.
Rajeshji, I am aware of this, so my deepest condolences also to you and to your family, and it must be quite shocking. But tell us what made Ajit Dada who he is. How did he become so popular among the people of Maharashtra? Political successes, failures aside, he was always popular with the people, with the locals. So, and you've known him for so many years. So, share with us what made him special. What was his unique quality?
Yeah, his unique quality I can mention is, first of all, he was very time punctual. No one in our state was starting the meeting at 7 a.m. in the morning. So that was a very special quality, to start day very early in the morning. His meetings were to be conducted 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So this, I'm not at all flirting, but this is the real truth. So he's a very time punctual person, very bold person. Means whatever he was mentioning, like whatever he used to say, he used to do it. So he used to tell that whatever he say, he mean it. He was to do it, and that was his special. I think. I mean to say his special quality. Yeah, as a leader.
How would you remember him as a person?
He was a very hardworking person, and whenever we were in ministry, he used to guide us. Basically, I can quote some of the example that when I was on a very hot seat of public health ministry in the time of Corona. So I was public health minister and he was finance minister. So he used to really support a lot, because whatever proposals we were to take to him, because I was on the ground, and so I used to tell him all facts, and he used to understand it properly. He was very sensitive leader, and he used to really help us a lot. So that was the thing what I can mention here, that he used to help and he used to mentor, he used to tell what is good and what is not. So so I think all his experiences he used to share to all of our generation. And so that always kept Maharashtra.
Rajesh ji, my condolences again. Thank you for speaking with us even at this time of real sadness and grief. Thank you. We have viewers breaking from this coverage and cutting straight across to the Lok Sabha. President is addressing the House.
और अगरतला में महिलाओं और बच्चों का अस्पताल बनने से भी बड़ी सुविधा होगी। इस तरह के प्रयासों से पूर्वोत्तर में एक बड़ा हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार हो रहा है। माननीय सदस्यगण, जो पिछड़ा हो वो मेरी सरकार की प्राथमिकता है। पीएम जनमन योजना पीएम जनमन योजना आदिवासियों में भी सबसे पीछे जनजातियों की 20,000 से ज्यादा गांवों को विकास से जोड़ा जा रहा है। इन गांव में गरीबों के करीब 2.5 लाख घर इसी योजना के माध्यम से बने हैं। धरती व जनजातियों ग्राम उत्कर्ष अभियान से भी आदिवासी क्षेत्रों में विकास को अभूतपूर्व गति मिल रही है। इन दोनों योजनाओं पर सरकार 1 लाख करोड़ रुपया से अधिक खर्च